What is up, people, and welcome back to part 44 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you missed season 1 and of course season 2 as well, and the first round of this third season, then you can go click the little card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens to go catch up with everything that's happened over this career mode so far. We're here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, and you can see on your screens right now the results of the Australian Grand Prix, as the championship has not changed from those results. So we're currently fourth. We got fourth position in the Australian Grand Prix. A really good result for us in our first race for Force India. Fernando Alonso got third, Carlos Sainz second, and Kevin Magnussen, the guy who replaced me at Renault, got his first ever race win. But those results don't exactly tell the whole story. It was one of the craziest races that I've ever been in, and if you have not seen it, then I urge you to go watch the Australian Grand Prix right now. But second race in this Force India, and Bahrain is a track that I think suits me quite well. It's one of the easiest tracks on the F1 calendar, and hopefully we can do a really good job here. But first, we need to get some more resource points to try and upgrade the car, so let's head over to practice. Here we are then in today's practice session at the Bahrain Grand Prix, trying to get as many resource points as we possibly can before we start to upgrade our car. We haven't actually made any upgrades on this car yet because we cannot afford any of the upgrades that are available to us. But here we are going through the track climatization, and we managed to get a purple score on our first time of asking, which was absolutely fantastic, and that means that we get quite a few resource points for that. And then we decided to go out and do the tyre wear management. Now, unfortunately, we did not get the purple score, but we did get the green score, which was a really good news. It means we still get a load of resource points, but unfortunately we do not get the maximum amount of resource points available to us after the tyre wear management. And unfortunately we could not do the qualifying pace. I really struggled with that one. Across all the entire races, only a few selection of races where I actually managed to do the qualifying pace objective, and unfortunately we're down in 22nd position after the practice session, but we had more fuel than we would usually have in qualifying. So yeah, they're not exactly representative of how we will actually do in terms of the race and qualifying. So we'll be hoping for a lot better in both those sessions. But without any further ado, let's see how we do in qualifying in the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's qualifying time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The sun is setting, the lights are coming on over the Sakir circuit. We will be looking to get out of Q1 and into Q2, sort of recreating what we did in the Australian Grand Prix and hoping to go even better than that and possibly getting a high result in Q2. I don't think I'll be able to get into Q3 because we're not quite in a good enough car to do that, but we should certainly be able to get into maybe P12 or P13 in this qualifying session. So we're going to head out on track, get through Q1, get into Q2, and then see what we can do from there. First lap then in this qualifying session, coming down towards the line. What sort of time is it going to be? It's not the best at the moment. It's a 1:32.838. Only good enough to beat Felipe Nasr at the time being. We need to get above the Saubers, the Manners, the Williams as well. They're not exactly doing too great in this season, so we'll be hoping to get above those guys. But here we are, second lap on this Bahrain Grand Prix, 6/10 faster, down towards the line. What is the time good enough for? 11th position, above Rio Haryanto, but not better than Pascal Wehrlein, so it might not be good enough at the end of the session. So we are going to go out for one more lap later on this session towards the end and see what that is good enough for. We're currently only good enough for 20th on the grid, but this lap is currently 9/10 quicker than our previous best. So here we are coming down towards the line. What's the time good enough for? It's 1:31, and it should be enough. Yes, it is, to get into Q2 in P12 as well. A really good result for us. Rio Haryanto getting 10th, and that is a great result for him as well. But here we are in Q2. Now, I'm not too sure about getting into Q3. We're going to need a really good lap. Coming down towards line for our first lap, going on a set of tyres that we used in Q1. And good enough for P7 at the moment. 1:32.3. We know we can do better than that. We know we can get into the 1:31s. And here we are, checkered flag out. Final lap in this Q2 session. Currently 14th on the grid, so we need a big improvement, which we currently have done. 1 second quicker. Is it enough to get into Q3? Yes, it is. For the first time since the Singapore Grand Prix, we are in a top 10 shootout. What a fantastic result this is for us in our Force India. Not one of the best cars on the grid like we were previously in the Renault last season, but we have finally got into Q3. So a great result for us. And here we are, first lap here in Q3, coming down towards the line. DRS open. Was the time good enough for? It's a 1:30.733. A great lap here in this qualifying session, but only good enough for 7th on the grid, which I say only good enough, but it's still a fantastic result for us. So if we get 7th at the end of the day, I will be absolutely ecstatic with that result. Second lap, not quite an improvement, 2/10 slower than our first one, so maybe the third lap can be an improvement on that one. But here we are coming down towards turn 1 at the moment on this third lap, and here we are ending the third and final lap. Unfortunately, it was not an improvement. Too many mistakes on that lap meant that we were quite a few bit down, and we just sort of gave up in the end on this lap. 4/10 slow at the end of the day, but it was sort of a sort of slow in lap, and it's good enough for 7th position at the end of the day, which is a fantastic result in this qualifying session, one that we are definitely very, very happy about. So 7th place on the grid, our best result since the Singapore Grand Prix last season, and Danny Kvyat goes and gets pole position with Carlos Sainz, his teammate, making it a 1-2 for Toro Rosso. That's not really too much of a surprise because they are the best team in Formula 1. Then he's followed by the Renault of Jolyon Palmer, my former teammate, in 3rd with Lewis Hamilton in 4th. Kevin Magnussen, last time's race winner, is lined up in 5th with Sebastian Vettel 6th, myself in 7th, Kimi Räikkönen in 8th, Max Verstappen in 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo rounds out the top 10. So what can we do from 7th on the grid? Can we get another great points finish? I mean, we started down in 15th position in the Australian Grand Prix and managed to get 4th place. So can we do something very, very similar today and maybe even get the race win or get onto the podium? Only time will tell. But for now, let's head over to the race for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, and as the Bahrain International Circuit descends into darkness, what an exciting race we have on our hands here today. Starting in P7 on the grid, our best qualifying position since the Singapore Grand Prix, and of course that was a night race as well, so it looks like we tend to do well at night races. So I'm very, very excited to see what we can do at this Bahrain Grand Prix and hopefully push on to get a very, very good points finish indeed. Kevin Magnussen is our current Drivers' Championship leader, of course, after winning the Australian Grand Prix. He'll be looking to carry on that momentum here today with Renault topping the tables in the Constructors as well. Scuderia Toro Rosso in 2nd with McLaren in 3rd. There's our pole sitter, Danny Kvyat, who has his teammate Carlos Sainz lining up alongside him. Toro Rosso doing a great job in the qualifying sessions with Lewis Hamilton lining up in 4th position, just behind Jolyon Palmer, who lines up alongside him on the 2nd row. But we are down in 7th place. A really, really good result for us. We've got a Ferrari ahead of us of Sebastian Vettel. Kimi Räikkönen is right behind us, and hopefully we can get both of those guys on the grid. But, you know, we just need to make sure that we make a couple of overtakes at the start, get as many positions as we possibly can down towards turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, and then really just push on from there. Looking at the race strategy for today's race though, starting on the super soft tyres, of course, because that's what we set our best time on in Q2, going on to the softs, and then going on to the mediums at the end of the race. But depending what happens during the race, we may not stick to that strategy. But here we are on the start of the formation lap, getting away, revving our rear tyres, you know, spinning up our rear tyres quite a lot there off the grid. We don't want to do that in the actual race, otherwise we're going to get off to a terrible start and possibly lose the back end. But here we are, just warming up the tyres, warming up the brakes, and heading to the start of the grid. The lights coming on now. It's 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it looks like it's a great start compared to Sebastian Vettel, looking to maybe go in between him and the Renault of Kevin Magnussen. We can't find a gap there, going round the outside in towards turn 1 for the first time in a while, actually braking at a good time in towards turn 1. We've gone round the outside of Sebastian Vettel, round the outside of Lewis Hamilton as well, now side by side with the Mercedes driver, going down in towards turn 3, maybe going up the inside in towards Carlos Sainz as well, and Kevin Magnussen up into P3 in this Bahrain Grand Prix. And the yellow flag coming out just after we overtook Kevin Magnussen. Very, very lucky there, boys. We could have had to give him the position back to Kevin Magnussen, Carlos Sainz, and maybe even Lewis Hamilton as well because of that. But 3rd position currently is a great result for us in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Here we are having a look at a replay of what happened down in towards turn 4. And it just looks like Nico Hülkenberg, my teammate, goes into the back of Max Verstappen, who goes into the back of Sebastian Vettel, who then goes into the back of, I think, Carlos Sainz. And it was just sort of a domino effect. I'm not too sure what happened that caused Nico Hülkenberg to go into the back of Max Verstappen. Hopefully we have a better idea here on board with him going down in towards turn 4 at the moment. And he just brakes a little bit too late. Max Verstappen has to brake early because he has the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel ahead of him. And it just causes a domino effect. Nico Hülkenberg goes into the back of Max Verstappen, who goes into the back of Sebastian Vettel, who then goes into the back of Carlos Sainz. So not too sure what my teammate was thinking there, but a really, really bad mistake. So we're on board with Daniel Ricciardo at the moment going down in towards turn 4. And no, he's had a left front puncher. Daniel Ricciardo has had a puncher in this Bahrain Grand Prix. If you remember back to the Australian Grand Prix, there was a puncher for Lewis Hamilton on lap 3, which caused so much carnage in that lap, with loads of people getting crashed out. I think it's Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Hülkenberg all crashed out because of that one puncher. So something like that could happen here today. He's got a whole lot of cars right behind him going down in towards turn 9s and 10. There's so many cars so close together. Can they all get through cleanly? Somehow they have. Somehow all of those cars so close together, going 4 wide at some parts of the track, somehow managed to get through cleanly. Not too sure how that's happened. Daniel Ricciardo's still going on with that front left puncher. But we've cut back to our own race as we are defending against Lewis Hamilton and I think Carlos Sainz and Kevin Magnussen as well. No safety car has been deployed because Daniel Ricciardo was going too slowly down that straight. I think that's a good idea just in case the guys behind him, which I believe was Max Verstappen, his teammate, and I think my team as well, Nico Hülkenberg and Sebastian Vettel as well, all of those guys could have gone into the back of him and caused a huge collision. So we are deciding to come into the pits because the safety car is out. We were going to be coming into pits in 2 laps anyway, so we thought it was a good idea to go onto the soft. So I think a lot of the other guys are going for an extra stop, going onto super soft tyres and then seeing what they can do from there. But we're going to go onto the mediums and try and take these as long as possible, then go onto the softs, try and do one less pit stop than all the other guys around us, and hopefully that will be a good strategy for us here today. It might work out, it might not, but we're just going to have to wait and see how this race develops. But we've dropped down, unfortunately, behind the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Raikkonen as well because of that. But we're currently in 14th position, right behind Fernando Alonso. Some of these guys ahead of us have not pitted because they start on the mediums or the softs, so they don't feel like they need to pit. And we've also got the likes of Nico Rosberg. Who else? I think Nico Rosberg's definitely one of them. I'm not too sure who the other drivers are, but they're the guys who have not pitted. So we bumped up into P11 after all those guys came into pit. Safety car is coming in at the moment, so we're just waiting to get on the restart. Power down at the moment, right behind Fernando Alonso. We've got a great chance to go for the opportunity, go for the overtake down towards turn 1, and it's an easy move at the end of the day using the slipstream, going down in towards turn 1. We have a lot less drag compared to that McLaren, and there we go, up into P10, back in the points in this Bahrain Grand Prix. And up next for us is Esteban Gutierrez in the Haas, who we're trying to put a car right behind his, going down in towards turn 4. And here we are right behind Esteban Gutierrez at the moment, up the inside in towards turn 4. Great under braking, still side by side with the Haas driver, but he yields position. We slot back into place, and there we go, up into P9 and right behind the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen, who we are right behind once again. He's on the super soft tyres, remember, on lap 7, right behind the Ferrari driver Felipe Massa, Marcus Ericsson, and I believe, who else is that? Not too sure. I thought it was a Red Bull, but I don't think it is. It could actually be Max Verstappen, but I'm not too sure. But we get the job done on Kimi Raikkonen, up into P5 in this race, and right behind Jenson Button, who is doing a great job for McLaren so far. But Kimi Raikkonen dropped down into P6 at the moment, but he is on those super soft tyres, so we do need to be aware of him. Here we are then, later on, lap 8, right behind Jenson Button going down into his hairpin, but we've run it wide. We've braked a little bit too late into that corner, and that allows Kimi Raikkonen to have a very, very easy move indeed, up the inside in towards turn 8, I believe it is. And there we go, Kimi Raikkonen up into P5 once again, and now he'll be looking to try and get past Jenson Button. Unfortunately, we just weren't quick enough on these medium tyres compared to those super softs to get the job done on him. And now we are under pressure from Kevin Magnussen and Jolyon Palmer. Both of these guys who definitely want to beat both these guys, as I used to race for Renault last season. So there's a little bit, there's a little bit of competition between us two. Who is the better driver out of the Renault squad? Of course, driving for Renault last year, Jolyon Palmer, my former teammate, is following in the slipstream right now. Can he get the job done? He's following in a massive amount of slipstream, all on different sets of tyres as well. Going down in towards turn 1, it's 3 wide into the corner. Jolyon Palmer gets a little tap there from Kevin Magnussen, puts his car into a spin, but he only loses position to me. So he's still in 7th place. We are right on the back of Kevin Magnussen, who in the end does manage to get through on those super soft tyres. Unfortunately, we just weren't quick enough to keep up with him. And now we are under pressure from the Toro Rosso of, I believe, Carlos Sainz. Yes, it is. It is Carlos Sainz who is going for the move down in towards turn 1. Is it Carlos Sainz? I'm not sure. Yes, it is Carlos Sainz going for the move. So going into the penultimate corner, Carlos Sainz round the outside. We're just managing to hold it, but he has so much better grip on those soft tyres. It's an easy move, and Jolyon Palmer getting stuck behind the Toro Rosso, pushing him all the way down the straight. Can we get the job done? Back up the inside in towards turn 1, side by side with Jolyon Palmer in towards the corner. Still side by side with my former teammate, but unfortunately we have to give him the room on the inside. He gets a better drive through that corner, and he is back up into P3 for the time being. But we're going to have a look up the inside in towards turn 4. We've got slipstream on him, under braking, so much better. He gives us a little bit of room, a bit of traction out of the corner. Can we get him done round the outside into this next section of corner? Still side by side with Jolyon Palmer, and then we realise, why on earth are we fighting with him when we need to make these tyres last in order to do one less stop? If we can, as long as we can stay within a pit stop within him, then we should be able to get him back when he comes into for his extra stop. So that is what we've decided to do. We just decided to let him go, and now we are under pressure from Esteban Gutierrez, who I believe is doing the same sort of strategy as me. So we need to make sure this guy does not get past us. But here we are going round in towards the left hand. A lot of guys come into the pits at the moment, so that bumps me up into P3. So we're actually battling for second place in this Bahrain Grand Prix, going down in towards the last couple of corners now, right behind the Haas driver here on lap 12. Can we get the job done on Esteban Gutierrez? We will have a very, very good opportunity because we will have DRS down the start-finish straight right behind Esteban Gutierrez at the moment. A great line through the final corner. Maybe taking a little bit too much curve there, as it looks like the leader, Jenson Button, is coming into the pits. So we could take the lead of the race, which we are going to do up the right-hand side of Esteban Gutierrez using DRS. And there we go, into the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Can we stay there by the end of the race? You know, only time will tell. There's still a long way left to go in this Bahrain Grand Prix. 16 laps left to go, and we need to make sure that we defend from Esteban Gutierrez right now. But now we are under pressure from the Toro Rosso of Danny Kvyat, the pole sitter. Of course, he goes on the right hand side down in towards turn 1. Fairly easy move there for Danny Kvyat because he does have DRS and he is on fresher tyres than us. But we're going to try a little bit of a cutback move, try and get a good drive out of this corner and down in towards turn 4. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough as we lose the back end through that corner. Now Danny Kvyat has a great drive in towards turn 4, and there we go, just not enough to get past the Toro Rosso, so we have to concede position to him. But now we are under pressure from the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, another guy who's coming to the pits on fresher rubber than we are, and of course better tyres being on those softs, so it should be a fairly straightforward move for Lewis Hamilton going down in towards the final corner round the inside. We're going to hold it round the outside. Then we've got a good drive out of that corner side by side with Lewis Hamilton following in the slipstream now using DRS as well, which means we will be faster down this straight side by side with the Mercedes driver. Can we get the job done by turn 1? Yes, we can. There we go, back up into second place. But oh no, we've run it wide in towards turn 1. That's allowed Lewis Hamilton to go up the inside, possibly allowed Kimi Räikkönen to have a little look at going for the overtake, but he decides to back out of it. Unfortunately, we have lost that position to Lewis Hamilton and have dropped down into third position now. But now we are under pressure from Kimi Räikkönen as well. It looks like we're just defending and just going backwards from this race. So maybe this strategy was not a good idea, but we could still get a better position than what we started the race in. As Kimi Räikkönen dives it up the inside, we break a little bit early into that corner, and that allows me to perform the cutback move on Kimi Räikkönen. Great move, a little bit lovely switch back there on Kimi Räikkönen. Going down in towards turn 1 though, he now has the slipstream and of course DRS as well. Going down in towards turn 1, can he get the job done? It's still side by side. He breaks it a little bit later than I do. And once again, trying the switchback on Kimi Räikkönen, working an absolute treat. Puts me side by side through turn 2 and turn 3. But that better grip that he has on the Ferrari is so valuable to him. And it gives him a great drive down in towards turn 4. Diving it up the inside, side by side once again with the Ferrari driver. But once again, great traction from Kimi Räikkönen, and that gives him and solidifies his third position. Unfortunately, we cannot battle with him anymore as he just sort of drives up the road, and that is it in terms of grip on our car. But here we are just watching a replay on board with Max Verstappen following behind Felipe Nasr at the moment. Going down in towards the penultimate corner. Going up the inside in towards the final corner now. Who's going to come out on top between those two? Max Verstappen, he locks up. He goes into the side of Nasr, and that gives, I think, Roman Grosjean the overtake up the inside in towards, I think that is P20. They're battling for last position at the moment, but very, very disappointing there from Max Verstappen. Just locks up, messes up his braking point, and gives a position to Roman Grosjean. We have Carlos Sainz going for the overtake on us now in towards turn 1. Once again, trying the switchback move. Not quite doing it as well as we did against Kimi Räikkönen, but we still got a great drive on that corner. Following in the slipstream of Carlos Sainz right now. Our tyre wear is looking atrocious at the moment as we go down in towards turn 4. Up the inside of Carlos Sainz. Can we maybe get the opportunity up the inside? No, we lose the back end fighting with Carlos Sainz there. That loses us position, and unfortunately, we're going to have to settle for P3 once again as Carlos Sainz gets past us and gets the job done. And there we go, just looking towards the end of the lap. That's how far Carlos Sainz is ahead of us within just one lap. Here we are, coming into the pits for our second pit stop on lap 19. Now coming in for a set of soft tyres, which should hopefully last us till the end of the race, if we can maintain our tyres well. It's going to be really, really close, because getting those mediums just to lap 19 was a massive struggle indeed. We get out ahead of the Renault driver. Unfortunately, we do not catch up to Carlos Sainz. He was just too far up the road, but Carlos Sainz is a little bit ahead of us, and so is Kimi Räikkönen as well. So it looks like the Renault of Kevin Magnussen, and I believe that is Fernando Alonso as well, get past us going down in towards turn 1. So we've come out in P8, which is still a good result, because Fernando Alonso still has to pit in this race. Kevin Magnussen is taking those medium tyres till the end though, so we do need to make sure that we get past him. But here we are on lap 21, right behind Fernando Alonso at the moment, and right behind Kevin Magnussen as well, going down in towards turn 4, following in the slipstream, maybe go up the inside in towards turn 4, under braking, which we do. We get so close as well to Kevin Magnussen, maybe not that close, but we still get very, very close to Kevin Magnussen. A little bit scary there going in towards turn 4, managed to avoid his back end and avoid making contact with the Renault driver, but still a great move up the inside on Fernando Alonso. And now we're right behind Kevin Magnussen, the guy who replaced us in Renault. So we need to make sure that we do get past this guy and stay ahead of him, just to sort of rub it in their faces and say, yes, we have left, we are the better driver than Kevin Magnussen. As we go into the fastest lap, as well as overtaking him down towards turn 1. Yes, we did have DRS, which made it a little bit easier in towards turn 1, but still a great overtake on Kevin Magnussen. And there we are, up into P6. And up next for us is Carlos Sainz, who we will be hoping to try and get past within the next couple of laps. But here we are on board with Jolyon Palmer and Esteban Gutierrez at the moment, going in towards turn 10. So what's going on between these two drivers? Going down in towards turn 11 at the moment. He's using slipstream, he's using DRS, pulling over to the left hand side. It's side by side in towards this corner. Esteban Gutierrez following right behind Jolyon Palmer at the moment, going in towards this right-hander of turn 12. And there's contact between the two of them. Esteban Gutierrez has gone into a spin. Not too sure what exactly happened between those two, whether Jolyon Palmer just squeezed him out and puts him off the track, or whether Esteban Gutierrez went into the back of him. Hopefully, we have a replay of exactly what happened there. And yes, we do. On board with Esteban Gutierrez. So Jolyon Palmer shoots up the inside on the left-hand side, but they're still going side by side through turn 11. Through turn 12 and into turn 13, still side by side between these two drivers, and Esteban Gutierrez just goes too quickly into the back of Jolyon Palmer, and you've got to say that was kind of his fault. Jolyon Palmer was already ahead of him, and he had his own right to take that line, and Esteban Gutierrez unfortunately just went straight into the back of the Renault driver and put himself into a spin, losing quite a few positions as well. But here we are on lap 23, 6 laps left to go in this race. Kevin Magnussen right on our tail at the moment, using DRS, using the slipstream, pulling over to the right-hand side, going down in towards turn 1. Can we do anything to defense against the guy who replaced me in Renault? Going in towards turn 1 now, trying a bit of a switchback move on Kevin Magnussen. Has it worked? Not quite yet, but we've done another switchback move on the Renault driver, following in the slipstream, going down in towards turn 4. Can we do anything up the inside into turn 4? Side by side once again, managing to get the car stopped under braking. But there we go, job done on Kevin Magnussen, holding on to P5 for the time being on lap 24 at the moment. But there's still quite a few laps left to go, and here we are on lap 25 with Kevin Magnussen right on our tail once again. Not just on our tail, he's going for the move down into the final corner, but we're going to do what we did to Kimi Räikkönen, break a little bit early, try and get the switchback move on Kevin Magnussen. Now we've got a great drive on the Renault driver. We've also got DRS because we broke a little bit early into that corner, and now we could possibly have the opportunity to go up the right hand side, which we do, down in towards turn 1, under braking, and there we go, job done, back into P5 with only 3 laps left to go in this Bahrain Grand Prix. But all this batting is doing is allowing Jolyon Palmer to get involved as well, so he could possibly be batting me for this 5th position as well. But no, Kevin Magnussen right on my tail still. The action has not stopped there. Kevin Magnussen going round the outside in towards turn 4. Can't find any opportunity through there. But where on earth has he got this pace from? Going down into this right-hander, where on earth did Kevin Magnussen get that little boost from? Going down in towards the right-hand side, a great overtake from the guy who replaced me at Renault. Now we're under pressure from Jolyon Palmer, going down in towards the final corner, trying it round the outside this time, not going for the cutback move, I think, because Nico Rosberg was very, very close behind us. We did not want to get tangled up with him as well. Jolyon Palmer going side by side with myself down in towards turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? He was, of course, my teammate last season and in season 1 as well. Going down in towards turn 1 once again, running it very, very wide into that corner. I think we're just going to have to give up position to Jolyon Palmer. No, we don't. We squeeze him out as much as we possibly can in towards turn 3. Down towards turn 4, once again pushing him over to the right hand side, giving him just enough room and going in towards turn 4 now, getting very, very close there with the Renault of Jolyon Palmer. How on earth we did not make contact, I do not know. We were trying to do a little bit of a switchback move on him, but unfortunately was not far enough ahead, and unfortunately we only saw the last possible moment. But Jolyon Palmer now getting overtaken on us into P6, unfortunately. And just look at our tyre weight. Our front left is now 71% with 1 lap left to go. So we're going to have to really try and conserve these tyres all the way to the end of the race. It's now at 75%, so they jumped up massively through that right-hander. So we do need to be aware of that. But here we are, final lap, under pressure from Nico Rosberg and another driver as well. I think it's Kimi Räikkönen right behind him. There's a little bit of a train behind us at the moment going in towards this left-hander. Still holding on to P7 where we qualified in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Can we hold on to it by the end of the race? We're going to come under pressure down this straight from Nico Rosberg, who will have DRS on us, following in the slipstream, pulling over to the left-hand side. Just what Jolyon Palmer did. And it's a fairly easy move at the end of the day from Nico Rosberg. But Danny Kvyat wins his first race of this third season. A great result for him. He won 3 races last season, and now he has got his first race win. He could definitely be within a chance of being a title contender this season. So a great result for the Toro Rosso driver. But now we are under pressure from Sebastian Vettel, going down in towards the final corner. He's trying to hold it round the outside, which he does. I get the move done up the inside. I squeeze him out as much as I possibly can down towards the line. Will our tyre hold? Yes, it will. And we're going to come home for a great 8th position in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Another great race in this third season of this F1 2016 career mode. Unfortunately, the result wasn't the best one for us, but still 8th position, 4 points on the board. It's still a good result, and we managed to beat our teammate as well. Danny Kvyat gets his first race win of the season after getting bullied in the Australian Grand Prix, and that is a great result from him. Lewis Hamilton finishes in second, with my rival Kimi Räikkönen finishing in third. A little bit disappointed with that, but nevertheless, it's a great result for him. Carlos Sainz finishes in 4th with Kevin Magnussen, last time's race winner and the championship leader, in 5th. So I'm not too sure whether he will be the championship leader after today's race. Jolyon Palmer finishes in 6th with Nico Rosberg in 7th, myself in 8th, Sebastian Vettel 9th, and Jenson Button rounds out the top 10 and gets the final championship point. And we also go on to set the fastest lap of the race. So really, really good result for that. And looking further down the field, Felipe Nasr finishes at the back. There were no DNFs in today's race, and the only one that did a sort of strange strategy were Roman Grosjean and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen had that crash on lap 3, so we can understand that one. Not too sure what happened to Roman Grosjean in the race, but for some reason doing a 4-stopper as well. Let's have a look at how this race affects the drivers' standings. I don't want to look into the drivers' standings too much, as it is only the early stages of the season, but we are down in 6th position, which is still a good result for us, especially in the car that we are in. We're currently ahead of Fernando Alonso by 1 point, which is sort of what we need to do. We need to make sure that we stay ahead of the likes of the Williams, the McLarens, the Manners, the Saubers, and the Haas as well. Those guys are the guys that we need to make sure that we stay ahead of. Kevin Magnussen, he still leads the way in the championship, but his lead has been cut down by 5 points over Carlos Sainz. Danny Kvyat is up to 3rd, Kimi Räikkönen in 4th, and Lewis Hamilton in 5th. And I expect that this season is going to be a really, really close battle for the championship come the end of it. Let's have a look, though, at how this affects us in the constructors' standings. And in the Constructors standings, we have also been dropped down into 6th position, but we are on the exact same amount of points as McLaren, and those are a team that we do need to make sure that we move ahead of. So 5th position would be a really, really good result for us in this championship, especially if we stay ahead of Red Bull Racing as well, because those are the guys that are one place above us in the performance comparison. But as we start to upgrade our car, hopefully we can move further up the Constructors standings as well. But that is it for today's Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Taking a quick little look at the rivalry update after today's race, and Kimi Räikkönen moves further away from us, 22 points I believe that is, over 15 right now. So it's very, very close between the two of us, but I do think that Kimi Räikkönen at the moment is definitely going to go on to win this rivalry once again and make it 4-3 in the rivalry update. It's kind of a bit unfair as we are battling with someone who is, you know, in a much better car and should be battling for race wins, whereas we are sort of battling for, you know, 5th positions in the season. If we can get a 5th place in races, it's still a really, really good result for us. But we have 771 resource points at the moment, which unfortunately is not enough to upgrade anything on our car. I mean, we could upgrade the chassis weight, but we need to upgrade the downforce. That is where we're struggling a lot. And the main thing that I feel that I'm struggling with is traction, and I believe that is affected through downforce. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know, leave a comment down below if you think that that's not, and you think it's actually chassis weight or it's engine power. I'm not too sure. Definitely not engine power, but if it is chassis weight, just let me know. But I believe that is because of the downforce. That's where we are struggling quite a bit. So that is what I want to upgrade next, and hopefully we can do that at the Chinese Grand Prix. But that is it for today's Bahrain Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have this career mode come to you about 3 times a week, every single week for the whole of Season 3, Season 4, Season 5. I want to get this career mode done. I want to be the only F1 YouTuber to get to Season 10 and complete it. Hopefully, we can do that before F1 2017 comes out. But I will see you next time at the Chinese Grand Prix. Until then, though, it's goodbye from me.